Hey brewers, welcome back to BKA Brewing. Today we're going to transfer our tropical XPA from this pale fermenter into our 19 litre Corny keg. If you want to watch the video on how I made this tropical extract XPA, then I'll link the video in the description below. Alright, now all that we need for this transfer process is just some nice big thick tubing, which we're going to connect to the spigot on the front of the pale fermenter, and we're just going to let gravity take care of the rest. Okay, so before we start any of this, we just want to make sure that our tubing is very well sanitized. So I'm just going to spray some sanitizer into the tube and then swoosh that around. So also make sure that the outside of the tube is also sanitized, because this can come into contact with the inside of the Corny keg. So what we're going to do first is we're going to connect this gas post to the beer outpost. That will allow us to put a little bit of CO2 into the bottom of this Corny keg. So then when we connect the tubing to the spigot on the fermenter, we're going to push that right to the bottom as well. So then the liquid is going to start out from the bottom of the keg, and as that rises, the CO2 lowers, and it then pushes the oxygen up out through the top opening of the Corny keg, hopefully removing any opportunity of oxidized beer. Okay, so I'm going to connect this to the beer post. I only need a little bit of gas, not a lot. Alright, now we'll put the beer in. So we're going to grab our tubing here and just re-sanitize the outside of that, just to make sure that everything is nice and sanitized. Alright, then we're going to hook that up to the spigot. So that tube is now pushed down all the way to the bottom of the keg. And then I'm just going to crack that lid open slightly, very, very slightly on the top of the pale fermenter. Alright, now turn the spigot on and let the beer start flowing straight through. So that's now starting to go straight into the keg, and it's starting from the very bottom. So hopefully the gas that we put in there is pushing out any excess oxygen through the top opening here. So just the other little tip that I like to do is I like just putting the lid of the keg back in over the top, just to restrict any further potential oxygen getting in that keg. Alright, and now we'll wait until that fills up to 19 litres of beer. So we can see that condensation line increasing there. So we know that at the moment, the keg's probably about 3/4 full, nearly to the top. I like to leave it till the line gets to just under the black bits there, and then I'll stop the beer from flowing through, just to make sure that it just leaves me with a little bit of headspace in that finished keg. So that there is pretty much all but done, all but filled. I'm going to stop it there, just to leave that headspace at the top. I'll re-sanitize my hands first, and I'll remove that beer tube. Oh. Alright, so I will just pull that lid back out, give it another sanitize. That on there, do it up nice and tight. So now that this keg is full of our tropical XPA, I'll hook it up to the kegerator. I'll put a little bit of gas through the top. I'll just pull the pressure relief valve a few times, just to make sure that if there is any oxygen stuck in there, that the CO2 pushes that out. And then we'll leave it in the kegerator for a couple of weeks to carbonate, and then we'll pour our first sample. I'll see you there.